Good morning, and we're going to continue with Genesis today. So as always, our prayer. Father, as I read and receive your word, may it deeply be rooted in me, so when difficulty comes, it will be your word that encourages and strengthens me. So we're going to start with chapter 11, and do a few today as well. And again, this is Genesis. Get that there. Chapter 11, the Tower of Babel. At one time, the whole world spoke a single language and used the same words. Get this better here. As the people migrated eastward, they found a plain in the land of Babylonia and settled there. They began to talk about construction projects. Come, they said, let's make great piles of burnt brick and collect natural asphalt to use as mortar. Let's build a great city with a tower that reaches to the skies. A monument to our greatness. This will bring us together and keep us from scattering all over the world. Excuse me. But the Lord came down to see the city and the tower the people were building. Look, he said, if they can accomplish this when they have just begun to take advantage of their common language and political unity, just think of what they will do later. Nothing will be impossible for them. Come, let's go down and give them different languages. Then they won't be able to understand each other. In that way, the Lord scattered them all over the earth, and that ended the building of the city. That is why the city was called Babel, because it was there that the Lord confused the people by giving them many languages, thus sacrificing them across the earth. That's why they call it babbling. Got it. All right. From Shem to Abram. This is the history of Shem's family. When Shem was 100 years old, his son Arphaxad was born. This happened 2 years after the flood. After the birth of Arphaxad, Shem lived another 500 years and had other sons and daughters. When Arphaxad was 35 years old, his son Shelah was born. After the birth of Shelah, Arphaxad lived another 403 years and had other sons and daughters. Shelah was 30 years old, his son Eber was born. After the birth of Eber, Shelah lived another 403 years and had other sons and daughters. When Eber was 34 years old, his son Peleg was born. And the birth of Peleg, Eber lived another 430 years and had other sons and daughters. When Peleg was 30 years old, his son Reu was born. After the birth of Reu, Peleg lived 209 years and had other sons and daughters. When Reu was 32 years old, his son Serug was born. After the birth of Serug, Reu lived another 207 years and had other sons and daughters. When Serug was 30 years old, his son Nahor was born. After the birth of Nahor, Serug lived another 200 years and had other sons and daughters. When Nahor was 29 years old, his son Terah was born. After the birth of Terah, Nahor lived another 119 years and had other sons and daughters. When Terah was 70 years old, he became the father of Abram, Nahor, and Haran. The family of Terah. This is the history of Terah's family. Terah was the father of Abram, Nahor, and Haran, and Haran had a son named Lot. That sounds familiar. But while Haran was still young, he died in Ur of... I'm trying to get this in frame. In Ur of the Chaldeans, the place of his birth. He was survived by Terah, his father. Meanwhile, Abram married Sarai, and his brother Nahor married Milcah, the daughter of the brother of Haran. Milcah had a sister named Ishkah. Now Sarai was not able to have any children. Terah took his son Abram, his daughter-in-law Sarah, and his grandson Lot, his son of Haran's child, and left Ur of Chaldeans to go to the land of Canaan. But they stopped instead at the village of Haran and settled there. Terah lived for 205 years and died while still at Haran. Chapter 12. The Call of Abram. Then the Lord told Abram, "Leave your country, your relatives, and your father's house, and go to the land that I will show you. I will cause you to become the father of a great nation. I will bless you and make you famous, and I will make you a blessing to others. I will bless those who bless you and curse those who curse you. All the families of the earth will be blessed through you." So Abram departed as the Lord had instructed him, and Lot went with him. Abram was 75 years old when he left Haran. He took his wife, Sarai, his nephew Lot, and all his wealth, his livestock, and all the people who had joined his household at Haran, and finally arrived at Canaan. Traveling through Canaan, they came to a place near Shechem and set up camp beside the oak of Morah. At that time, the area was inhabited by Canaanites. And the Lord appeared to Abram and said, "I am going to give this land to your offspring." And Abram built an altar there to commemorate the Lord's visit. After that, Abram traveled southward and set up camp in the hill country between Bethel on the west and Ai on the east. There he built an altar and worshipped the Lord. Then Abram traveled south by stages towards the Negev. Abram and Sarai in Egypt. At that time there was a severe famine in the land. So Abram went down to Egypt to wait it out. And as he was approaching the borders of Egypt, Abram said to Sarai, "You are a very beautiful woman. When the Egyptians see you, they will say, 'This is his wife.' Let's kill him and we can have her. But if you say you are my sister, then the Egyptians will treat me well because of their interest in you, and they will spare my life." And sure enough, when they arrived in Egypt, everyone spoke of her beauty. When the palace officials saw her, they sang her praises to their king, the Pharaoh, and was taken into his harem. Then Pharaoh gave Abram many gifts because of her: sheep, cattle, donkeys, male and female servants, and camels. But the Lord sent a terrible plague upon Pharaoh's house because of Sarai, Abram's wife. So Pharaoh called for Abram and accused him sharply. "What is this you have done to me?" he demanded. "Why didn't you tell me she was your wife? Why are you willing to let me marry her, saying she was your sister? Here is your wife, take her and be gone." Pharaoh then sent him out of the country under armed escort, Abram and his wife with all their household and belongings. Abram and Lot separate. Chapter 13. So they left Egypt and traveled north into Negev, and Abram and his wife and Lot and all that they owned. For Abram was very rich in livestock, silver, and gold. Then they continued traveling by stage towards Bethel, to the place where Bethel and Ai, where they had camped before. This is the place where Abram had built the altar, and there he again worshipped the Lord. Now Lot, who was traveling with Abram, was also very wealthy with sheep, cattle, and many tents. But the land could not support both Abram and Lot with all their flocks and herds living so close together. There were too many animals for the available pasture land. So an argument broke out between the herdsmen of Abram and Lot. At that time, Canaanites and Perizzites were also living in the land. Then Abram talked it over with Lot. "This arguing between our herdsmen has got to stop," he said. "After all, we are close relatives. I'll tell you what we'll do. Take your choice of any section of land you want, and we will separate. If you want that area over there, then stay there. Stay here. If you want to stay in this area, then I'll move to another place." Lot took a long look at the fertile plains of the Jordan Valley in the direction of Zoar. The whole area was well watered everywhere, like the garden of the Lord or the beautiful land of Egypt. This was before the Lord had destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. Lot chose that land for himself, the Jordan Valley to the east of them. He went there with his flocks and servants and parted company with his uncle Abram. So while Abram stayed in the land of Canaan, Lot moved his tents to a place near Sodom, among the cities of the plain. The people of this area were unusually wicked and sinned greatly against the Lord. After Lot was gone, the Lord said to Abram, "Look as far as you can see in every direction. I'm going to give all this land to you and your offspring as a permanent possession. And I'm going to give you so many descendants that, like dust, they cannot be counted. Take a walk in every direction and explore the new possession I am giving you." Then Abram moved his camp to the oak grove, owned by Mamre, which is at Hebron, and there he built an altar to the Lord. So I'm going to end here because we're almost at 10 minutes, and we will start with chapter 14 tomorrow. I hope you all have a blessed day. Thank you for listening, watching, whatever you are doing with this, and make the best of today and bless somebody. Have a great one.